You know, few challenges in my life have been as tough as investing in Voxtur. You see, when I bought my first Voxtur share, this stock was trading at around $1.20. And then this happened. The stock simply collapsed, and I watched it drop until it hit around 30 cents to start buying it again. And well, I thought I was doing an excellent deal. And then when it reached 11 cents, I thought it was the biggest opportunity of my life, and I went big. Really, this was by far the biggest investment I've ever made. And well, today, my average price is around 14 cents, while Voxtur is trading at 2 cents only, which means that if I closed my position now, I would basically have lost everything. And I know from following this drama on Twitter and on CEO.ca that most shareholders are hopeless and that many have sold off their shares. And there's so much pessimism in the air that I think this stock can reach 1 cent, maybe half a cent. Really, anything is possible here. But you know, I want to bring optimism in this video and explain to you why I'm keeping my Voxtur shares. Actually, I might even buy more if I can. Now, before we begin, as always, nothing in this video is investment advice, okay? But anyway, first reason why I'm keeping my shares. Man, I've been in the red with this stock for more than 2 years now, holding it and following every step of this company. So, if I'm gonna lose it all, so be it. But you know what cannot happen? What I cannot do is freak out and sell my shares just because I'm tired and can't handle the volatility anymore, only to watch Voxtur skyrocket later without me. That would be much worse than the pain of losing everything. Especially because, honestly, right now, there's really not much left to save. Now, I'm not saying that Voxtur will recover. I don't know. I mean, looking at the price chart now, it just doesn't seem possible for Voxtur to recover. But you know, whenever I think this way, I remind myself of Ambipar stock. Ambipar, which is a Brazilian company, also dropped like 90% from its peak. And I remember that back then, everybody thought this company was a joke. And then, in just a matter of months, this stock went up like 30x. 30x. My point is, sometimes a stock can drop 90%, 95% and still recover, though it may seem impossible. But price is one thing and value is another. Anyway, but I get why people lost hope. I mean, the company had almost no cash left while it was losing money. The Blue Water sale also didn't happen, while the deadline to pay the Bank of Montreal has already passed. Everything kind of went wrong, right? So basically no one knows what will happen to this company. It is indeed a very stressful scenario. But some think that the Bank of Montreal is about to pull the plug. Others believe that Voxtur is in such a weak position that it won't be able to negotiate well its assets in case of a bankruptcy. Some were saying that University Bancorp was going to take everything, the whole company, by just covering the debt. Though now that Voxtur has terminated the Blue Water sale, I don't think anyone else thinks that anymore. But Voxtur is being viewed now as a company that's basically over, that doesn't have any value. However, I think that the perception of this company may change completely. But think about it. The Bank of Montreal could have already pulled the plug, right? But it didn't. Weeks have passed, months, and nothing. Maybe it's because the Bank of Montreal is seeing things improving. Maybe, I don't know. But the fact is that the Bank of Montreal has not yet pulled the plug, and I think that means something. In fact, they recently announced this press release, which by the way made people panic and sell their shares. But I don't know why, because it basically only tells us that the Bank of Montreal and Voxtur are working together, which, if you think about it, is something positive. Besides, most recently, the Blue Water deal was terminated, which I also see as good news. After all, if the Bank of Montreal is working so closely with Voxtur, as that press release tells us, do you think that if the bank really wanted its money back, it would allow Voxtur to terminate that deal. Now, I don't know exactly why that deal was cancelled, but I think that University Bancorp might have tried to take advantage of Voxtur's situation, trying to take Blue Water for much less than the original offer. I don't know if that's true, but I can imagine that. Now, if I were a bank and wanted my money back immediately, I wouldn't let Voxtur cancel that deal. No way. I would say, you know what, I want my money back, and you better accept whatever new terms University Bancorp is offering. That's your problem. However, that was not the case, so that's why I see the Blue Water sale being terminated as good news, because it tells me that the Bank of Montreal probably won't ask for Voxtur to be liquidated, which is something many people are afraid of. That deal being terminated also means that we'll probably keep Blue Water too, and Blue Water is an excellent business. Huge margins, extremely scalable, and let's remember that Blue Water was valued at 80 million in that deal with University Bancorp. So that means for me that, considering the debt, Voxtur should be valued at 40 million at least, and being really pessimistic here. Today, though, Voxtur's market cap stands at only 20 million. Well, what I know for sure is that I'm definitely not selling my shares at a valuation of only 20 million, when this company is worth at least twice that, at the very least. So that's another reason why I'm keeping my shares. Besides, as I've said, I think that the perception of this company might turn completely. I mean, you heard Ryan in the Almost Mongolian interview. Voxtur has been strongly cutting expenses.
I can tell you that the only thing that we can control right now as an operation team is making sure that our costs don't exceed our gross profit revenue. Gross profit.
Do you think do they exceed it now? Can you say that?
Of course. I mean, you guys see the financials. Of course it was exceeding it. I mean, in October, or in August, right? I mean, that month alone going to USD was $2.7 million, right? Of total operating expense. Today, as we are trending, right? Again, we haven't realized it yet because there's cancellation notices. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. But today we're trending down to about a $1.65 to $1.7 million total operating cost per month. It's $1 million savings that we've been able to achieve as a team in the last 90 days.
You think that's going to be realized like in the short future?
I believe that it is in the immediate future, yes.
And according to Ryan, the company is almost cash flow positive.
So here is a direct question. What do you think will be the first cash flow positive quarter, like full quarter that we can see in the financials, that is cash flow positive?
So cash flow is going to be different than EBITDA, right? I do believe when we talk about cash flow positive, we are close to being to that point already. So, the less of a dependency on, any debt facilities, the better. And I do believe that we are close to achieving that plan right now. So definitely by Q1 of 2025, that should be fully realized.
Yeah. So you would say like Q4 we would burn less money than last quarter, and Q1 would be maybe cash flow positive completely.
That's what we're working towards, 100%. Yeah, I mean, again, a lot of it's fluid, right? I mean, there's some variables, there's changes. I like to be as conservative as possible, and I like to overachieve.
Yeah, and obviously you didn't have a lot of cash when Q3 ended. So are you taking on more debt right now from the revolving facility?
So right now we are close to cash flow positive, and so that's where we are right now.
Yeah.
So I think the short answer to your question is not that I'm aware of.
So that's why I believe that the perception of Voxtur is likely to turn. After all, if Voxtur is able to indeed achieve positive cash flow, that will be a game changer because it will show everyone that Voxtur can sustain itself. And this may even help to open other options for them in terms of financing. Once they are in the green, refinancing the debt, for instance, may become an option, and then the entire piece of Voxtur would be kept intact, which would be great. So that's why I'm keeping my Voxtur shares, because the way I see it, this company is not over yet, as many people seem to think. But in my view, Voxtur won't go bankrupt, and this debt will be handled somehow, whether through the sale of an asset, a part of the business, or via refinancing. And I believe in Ryan's words. I believe that Voxtur will stop bleeding money. And once the debt is handled and the company starts generating cash, imagine where the stock can go when the housing market turns, because right now the housing market is still horrible. But if Voxtur is able to succeed in this environment, imagine where it can go in a good housing market, because eventually this storm will pass. So in summary, that's why I'm keeping my shares. Yes, the situation is not good, but I don't think that everything is lost. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I don't think it's a train coming in my direction. Anyway, that's it for today. Keeping my Voxtur shares, and see you next time.